during the previous interview, you shared the story of yours when you made 8,000 on your first property, on your first flip. And then you worked out years later that you could have made much more than that. You mentioned 20,000, so it's 12,000 more on that flip. And the knowledge and experience made you realize that. Now, knowing that you are now experienced and you are now helping investors in doing those deals, doing flips and making money, how can you help, or how working with a person like yourself help an investor in making that money? Or shall I say, it doesn't cost them anything because they make more money than they pay you anyway. Is that true?
Well, it is.
Yeah.
First thing you have to fight with is obviously your own worries, your own concerns, whether you should trust to someone like myself, because we're talking about big numbers. Sometimes we're talking about savings of your life. So, making decision about your hard worked savings, this is not the easy process. So you have to make your due diligence, and obviously you have to make your mind and make that decision yourself, that this is the time I want to do it. I feel it. I'm ready. You can do different things. You can actually find some other people like yourself and make a JV, make a joint venture. Each of you just puts small amount of money, and that way your risk is smaller. When it comes to financial risk, when it comes to risk involved in getting into any JVs, well, it's like with any relationship between people. It always starts with a beautiful honeymoon period, and then all of a sudden you realize that person just shits and farts. So you have to prepare yourself for that time, for that experience.
It's going to come.
It's going to come. Each of us, we've got some drawbacks, especially when it comes to, this type of process, very dynamic, where many things happens. You have problems with authorities. You have problems with organizing your finance with a broker. There's so many different things to consider. So in a way, if you've got like-minded people, someone who obviously hasn't got any problems with anger management, for example, or anxieties, then you can do it on JV basis. You can also use a property consultant, but when it comes to using property consultant, it's like with any professional. You've got good doctors, you've got bad doctors, you've got good dentists, you've got bad dentists, etc., etc. You've got good lawyers, bad lawyers. So it's always good to speak to existing clients of that particular person or patients of that particular doctor, to make sure it's not gonna end up with a pain in your ass, so, or in your pocket when it comes to property investor. And so that's a very important thing. And from my experience, the main mistake which is done by some of these people is to rely on us, on property consultants solely. This is like one angle. When someone just says, you make decisions, it's up to you, whatever you say, I accept that. I don't really take such a clients, because you have to make your mind. I'm only here to help you out to go through this process, but I'm not to, jump into your shoes. Okay?
Right. So some people would say, okay, so I'm paying you substantial amount of money to help me with this investment process. I know nothing about it. I'm just entry level. I'm expecting you to help me and make some decisions for me. Why isn't that a good thing?
try to go to your physio and tell him, okay, I'm gonna give you 3 times more than usual and you're gonna do all of these bloody exercises because I can't be asked. Okay, you're just gonna sweat your ass on my behalf, and that way you're gonna cure me. No way it's gonna work. And it's same with property consultant. I'm not going to help you to change your attitude. I'm not going to help you to speak to your wife. Why, honey, why there's 20K less on our savings account? What the hell, it's gone? Yeah. Well, there's that Polish chap in Hull, and he promised, oh, bloody hell, what are you talking about? So I'm not going to be involved in that. And there were some people trying to do things like that with me in the past. And, my answer is always no to that, because it's your problem, it's your decision, it's your responsibility. The way I usually convince people that going with me it's the right path, right choice, is my income is parallel to yours. So if you earn, then I earn too. If you don't earn, then I don't earn too. So how hell I can convince you more than that?
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, there are some setup fees, because I have to pay for my expenditure. I have to pay for my phone, I have to pay for my fuel, etc. But they are next to nothing to your income, to your end income.
Okay. I see. The very first thing that you mentioned during this conversation was the matter of trust. Like, how can people can trust you, seeing you for the first time? Now you're asking them to provide you with the bank statement to prove that they've got enough money to invest with you, and you ask them for an extra information like a credit score report and other things. Many people are scared to share these documents. How can you convince people that you are you're trustworthy of sending these documents to you?
Well, apart from fulfilling, these basic things of being registered with data protection authorities, etc. I think what they should do is just to speak to my existing clients, to someone who did something with me. I think they should ask me for few proofs, evidence from my solicitors. So something they can check and validate for previous deals, previous flips. And I think they should ask me for, some videos or photos of before and after end effect. If they want to use any of my builder teams for refurb or for property improvement.
So you're basically allowing them to do their due diligence on you.
Well, they should.
Yeah.
That's what I do when I go to any specialist. I usually getting that from referral. I'm not opening yellow pages if I want to, make some potentially dangerous thing, like going through any surgery or seeking for legal advice when it comes to very, complex matter. I don't really know if there's anyone who makes these decisions when they watch, commercials in telly or like just surfing on browsing on internet. Oh, there you go, I like this website, why not? Yeah, let's do it. Mm-hmm. We are not talking about buying shoes or pack of cigarettes. It's a bit more complicated situation.
Yeah, it's more expensive, and obviously it's more risky in terms of there's a lot of money involved in it, and money often means emotions as well.
That's it. And same as when it comes to any professional like lawyer or even specialist doctor. The way I see it, there should be always like half an hour meeting, free of charge, free advice, to see whether, that particular person helps you out to answer to your questions, to your worries. And if you can see it, if you like the answers, and if you find them convincing and giving you more reassurance, then there's nothing else, any specialist can do for you. That should be sufficient for you to make decision. No, not at this moment, maybe later on, maybe never, maybe definitely not, or maybe yes. Yes, but on these conditions, yes, but I've got a few more questions.
Awesome. Okay, thank you very much for today, Piotr.
Right, thank you, Greg.